And that is the abridged version of our intro. I'm not sure where the heck that came from. 12 seconds versus 19. But we are back here, Seth and Sean Sports Radio. How was vacation?
It was fantastic until until COVID hit.
Wait, what? Hold on. What do you mean?
Pops and Morgs have COVID. So we found out on Dad 11:30 last night, and Morgan 12:45 last night.
Well, we do like giving gifts from the Sunshine State. We just didn't think that would be the gift.
That was the gift that kept on giving. Now, luckily, Morgan is, for those of you who don't know, Morgan is my 3-year-old daughter. So she is not vaxxed because she's 3. So
how's Pops doing?
He's fine. He's got a cold. He's fine.
All right.
I mean, man's in better shape than anyone I know except for you. So
I think he may be in better shape than me. I mean, your dad's in pretty good shape anyway.
He is.
He's doing all right.
He's doing fine.
All right, Seth and Sean Sports Radio here. Welcome to our, one of our probably 3 or 4 favorite shows of the year where we go through the NFL draft and do our predictions, which are unlikely to come true.
No, this year they're definitely not coming.
So you can find Seth Kamens at S Kamens on Twitter, and you can find him on Facebook, myself, SU Lawyer 2001, and both of us on Seth and Sean, both on Facebook and on Twitter. I will not be tweeting live tomorrow night. I got to tell you, I'm interested in this draft a lot more than normal. Normally, I watch the draft and I'm like, okay, the Jets are going to disappoint. There's no way that they don't. I find it very difficult for them to disappoint me in both of these picks, given that they have 4 and 10. It's certainly possible. I said when I invited some people to watch a draft with me today, I said, please join me in the one day of the year that I am hopeful as a Jets fan. Because what will likely occur, even when you have the 4 and 10 pick, is that somebody will hold out, or you're tearing Achilles in minicamp, or something will happen where JETS becomes just end the season in April. Look, we just can't have nice things. So I actually do have a list. I did it this morning. So a full and complete list of my draft.
I'm proud of you.
And I have to tell you, as I went through it, Seth, as I do every year, I seem to find a person that I put in twice, right? This happens every year. So, but I found it before we went through this. And then I adjusted. And I got to tell you, like you said, the predictions are always going to be wrong. This year, I find it much harder than in the past.
Because this year, we don't have a feeling in the top 5.
I don't have
the first feeling. This is the first year I can remember where we don't know who number 1 is.
Yeah, I guess Orlando Pace draft. I mean, that's like 25 years ago. I'm trying to think of other drafts where you wouldn't know who the number 1. The Eric Fisher draft with Kansas City, right?
Yeah. I'm actually pulling up the top picks of the NFL draft over the last 25 years.
Do you want to roll? Hold on. Do you want to roll into this right away, or you want to talk a little bit NBA first? Because I got to tell you, I am a fan of Jaylen Brown. We've talked about this enough on the show. I have been a fan of Ja Morant since he has come out. And man, last night was beautiful. I've wanted to watch this series for a very long time. I enjoy watching Minnesota play. I enjoy watching Memphis play. They are the only series that has absolutely no defense in it, which is enjoyable when you're an NBA team, and it's up and down, and you're watching great athletes. And I truly believed when Edwards hit that 3-pointer with like 8 seconds left last night, we were going to overtime, and I would have more basketball to watch. And wow, that lefty layup by Ja Morant.
I was on a plane with no internet and no TV, and they separated my kids. Big fan of United right now. But if you think I was mad, you can just only imagine
your wife
what my life was.
How many complaint letters have been sent in the last 24 hours?
The problem is we've been a little bit preoccupied with
COVID.
So
Yeah,
it's not quite as much as you would think.
that's fair.
But
that's fair. But you've seen the replay, right?
Oh yeah, it's beautiful. I saw the replay of that. I saw the replay of the dunk. I mean, good God Almighty, what was that?
And at the end of the day, I laid down at the beginning of the series. I said the guys that were under pressure, right? The guys that needed to come to play to make these series what they were, and one of them was Jason Tatum, and he certainly came to play during the Nets series.
Yes.
Karl Anthony Towns last night was not on him. I mean, he didn't play well in Game 4, but every game that the Wolves have been in it or have won, he's had monstrous games. I mean, he is back to a All-NBA first-team type level. And that series is incredibly good to watch. Toronto coming back has made that.
Yeah, Philly's got a problem here. I don't think Philly's winning Game 6. And if you are James Harden and make a comment as ridiculous as, that he's tired of carrying teams in the playoffs and, the teammates have to step up and this and that. And
I want to know what team James Harden has ever carried in the playoffs. I mean, I think that's the point, right? What James Harden is one of the worst. Well, worst is it's a tough statement.
Yeah.
How about underwhelming playoff basketball player, perhaps of our generation? Like,
that's probably.
I mean, he's definitely in the underwhelming is probably a better way. And yeah, I mean, they're in trouble. I mean, the Suns have looked much better last night versus the Pelicans, but the Pelicans are still in that series too.
They've been fun to watch. This has been. I mean, I didn't watch as much because I was in Disney World I pushed. I'm probably in pretty good shape right now because I ate ridiculously. I did push a stroller, which we left down there, for an average of 10 miles a day for 4 days.
Nice.
So I'm a little bit beat up, but that's okay.
So, I mean, if you're looking at the playoffs as a whole, guys that have improved their stock over the playoffs, Brandon Ingram, man, this guy is good.
He's been fantastic.
And I was thinking last night as I'm watching the Pelicans, if you're the Pelicans, you look back on that trade and you say thank you, don't you? The Anthony Davis trade, you say legitimately thank you. I got 3 first round, and that's how it normally works.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the problem, right? Is the comparison of that trade to me, looking back on it, is the Ken Griffey trade, where I traded a guy who was at the top of his game when he was healthy. And the unfortunate part is he was never healthy after that. And I got back a guy, let's put Mike Cameron in the same breath as Brandon Ingram, where Mike Cameron the next 3 years was a 20 home run, 90 RBI guy who played Gold Glove center field, while Ken Griffey Jr. was saddled with a huge contract and on the disabled list, which is now the injured list, for the majority of the next couple of seasons. And who got the better of the deal? Well, we know who got the better of the deal. If you look at Brandon Ingram Brandon Ingram, I believe, earns about $30 million, and I think Davis earns about $40 million at this point. And you take all the picks, right? And you take Josh Hart, who was also part of that trade, who was traded for Larry Nance. And so you're taking Larry, like the tree that goes down, right? You're the Pelicans. You're saying thank you. I love what I got. And Ingram has, like you said, has been absolutely phenomenal. And
how long is Ingram signed for? They
maxed him out. Yeah, he's got. I think he's got 2 or 3 more years. I can check that up, but I believe he's got 2 or 3 more years. Brandon Ingram contract. So he signed a 5-year, $158, which goes until 2025. So he's got 3 more years on that contract.
Okay.
He can earn up to $195 million. And you know what? His average is 31.6. Yeah, that's about right. I mean, look, that's about. Are you taking him? Or are you taking Harden at 49? Are you taking him?
You know my feelings on Harden.
Right.
I mean, the only reason this trade is looking good for the Sixers is Ben Simmons. I don't even know what to make of Ben Simmons at this point. Just don't.
But even if you're the Nets, you win that trade without Simmons. That's the thing. You make that trade even if you don't get Simmons because you got 2 first-round picks back. And you weren't going anywhere with Harden. So you make that trade. Now the question is, does Kyrie resign? I think he does. But I look at the Nets and I look very similar to the Yankees. And we've gone through the Yankees, right? Where they have bloated contracts that you can't really move around. There's really nothing you can do with that team if you want to stay at whatever the luxury tax is.
Right.
And you look at the Nets and you have, you have Kevin Durant, max contract. Kyrie, going to be a max contract, right? Simmons, max contract. Joe Harris, $20 million. You're already above the cap.
Isn't Harris? Oh no, they did re-sign Harris.
Right. You're already above the cap. Not only are you above the cap, you're above the luxury tax with 4 guys. 4 guys. So good luck trying. I mean, they're two free agents are Bruce Bowen and Nick Claxton, both of which are good players. But how much into the tax are you going for those 2 guys? If you're Joe Tsai and you're saying I'm a gazillionaire, which he is, which I aspire to be one day.
I wish you the best of luck.
Thank you very well. As my accountant, I would hope you would. So I think, it would be more than the $425 that I pay you every year now, if I'm a gazillionaire. The fact is, you're kind of saying, where do I go from here? But we'll address the off seasons for some of these teams in a couple of weeks. We have plenty of time while baseball is going on.
Well, what's going on?
Right, exactly. That Seth doesn't want to talk about.
All I know is the Yankees are about 12-8.
And all I know is that the Mets are are in first place. Yay!
Right.
We're in first place in April. Exactly.
Congratulations, man.
Well, I did.
Look, it's better than being in last place.
I did predict them to go to the World Series. I did predict them to win the World Series. So hopefully that will come true. I would very much like that. Okay. So let's start this down. So as you said before, you were going through did you pull up the draft of first round prospects?
I'm going to go to Wikipedia and pull it from there.
Okay. So as Seth was saying, it's hard at the top. I think it's even harder at the bottom. And the bottom is always hard. I mean, because you got that 5th-year option, right? Yep. So teams that have a first-round pick have the option to pay a 5th-year option to these guys that they select in the first round, while the second-round picks, as we're seeing with Deebo Samuel, don't necessarily, and A.J. Brown and DK Metcalf, don't have that. So you're going to have teams that potentially can trade up. Hold on. You can have teams that potentially trade up, and you'll see with my 32nd pick, I see a team taking a guy that normally wouldn't be a first-rounder. But the fact is, you want to hold on to him for that extra year just in case. So when's the last first round that we had any question about the first pick in the draft?
Okay, Trevor Lawrence last year, Joe Burrow, Kyler Murray, Baker Mayfield.
Yep.
We questioned, but we knew they were making the pick a day or two before, I believe.
I think when we talked about it, it wasn't so much. Look, this year, what do you think? There's 10 guys. I'd say there's 7 guys that can go any way. For the first pick, there's probably 4 guys. 4 guys can go with the first pick, right? Probably 8 guys can go in the top 6.
No, I think more than that.
Okay, maybe more than that.
11. I think there's about 11 that can go in the top.
Well, and I think that's the thing. We knew you had 3 quarterbacks that year. We knew that those 3 quarterbacks were going in the top 4 picks in some fashion. Here we don't have that. We don't have that certainty that those 4 guys are all going to go in those top 4 in some fashion. So I think we knew Barkley was going number 2. At least we knew one, right? We got one of them. This year, I have Hutchinson number 2, but that's only if he doesn't go number 1.
Right.
So I mean,
The only thing that I think is a consensus is that Aiden Hutchinson is going no lower than 2.
Yeah. And quite frankly, I'm not sure that's a consensus.
I do. I don't think Detroit is letting a Michigan guy who's the most consistent player in the draft.
Okay. I have seen places where Willis goes 2. I have seen, which is ridiculous, in my opinion. I have seen.
Well, it was on one ESPN thing, but I think what do you call it? Went 1. I think Hutchinson went 1 in that. It was an ESPN.
No. I've seen one where Hutchinson fell to the Jets at 4.
At 4?
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Look, and I don't think it's going to happen. And I think the Jets would be faster than the speed of a locomotive, or faster than a speeding bullet to the.
Really?
Yeah. Look, I'll bring up.
We're doing DC Comics now.
Absolutely, right to the front of that Las Vegas Allegiant Stadium to get to Hutchinson. I don't think he'll be there, but I've seen it. Okay, so go past that. So we had Mayfield. Who was before Mayfield?
Myles Garrett.
We knew that.
The year before that is Jared Goff. So I'm looking it up. That was not. It was known he was going to make they were trading up for because they traded with Tennessee.
Yeah, Goff was going 1.
Right, but it's funny. You look at the rest of the top 7. Oh my goodness.
Good or bad? Well, D. Milner's in that draft.
Number 2 is Carson Wentz.
Right.
Number 3 is Bosa.
By the way, trade up for Wentz, right? So It was a trade up for Goff, then a trade up for Wentz.
Yes.
So then you had Bosa went 3, and he wasn't traded up for. He was the natural pick at 3.
4 was Zeke.
Natural pick. Yep.
5 was Jalen Ramsey.
Natural pick. Yep.
6 was Ronnie Stanley, who's been, when he's not injured, has been an All-Pro for Baltimore.
Yeah.
Number 7 is DeForest Buckner, who's been an All-Pro.
Who's now on Indy. Yep.
He's now on Indy, but they only traded him because they couldn't re-sign him and Nick Bosa. Number 8 is Jack Conklin, who I believe has been an All-Pro has been a Pro Bowler once or twice.
He got signed to a huge contract by Cleveland last year. Yep.
Yeah. And that's about, those are top 8. Then it falls down a little bit, but geez, that's a solid. But the Rams needed a quarterback desperately.
Yeah. So who's before Goff?
Before Goff was Jameis Winston. That was a no-brainer.
No-brainer.
Before that was Jadeveon Clowney. That was a no-brainer.
No-brainer.
So the year before that was Eric Fisher, which is a good call by you, which is the worst draft we've ever seen.
Central Michigan. There
you go. Here's your top 10. Eric Fisher, Luke Jokel, Deion Jordan, Lane Johnson, Ziggy Ansah, Barkevius Mingo, one of my favorite names of all time, Jonathan Cooper, Tavon Austin, one of your personal favorites, D. Milner, and Chance Womack.
So Lane Johnson's the only one still in the league. And
Ziggy Ansah's still in the league.
No, I don't think he – he may have played for Pittsburgh last year. Okay, so 2 out of the top 10 are in the league. And only 1 made an All-Pro or made a Pro Bowl.
No, Eric Fisher has apparently made a Pro Bowl.
Really?
Lane Johnson made a Pro Bowl.
Right. Lane Johnson's the best out of that group. Yes. It's well high and above. But
right. Just kind of going through the rest of that first round. There's some good players. There's Xavier Rhodes. First round, DeAndre Hopkins was 27.
Okay.
Certainly not a good draft, but Travis Frederick, which was controversial, but worked out nicely for the Cowboys. So just going before that, Andrew Luck, no-brainer. Cam Newton, no-brainer. Sam Bradford, I don't remember if he was a no-brainer or not.
Who went 2 in that draft?
I'm looking right now.
And then we're going to move on to the mock because we got 40 minutes.
Yes, he was not a no-brainer because number 2 was Ndamukong Suh.
Yeah.
So, so after Sam Bradford, the next 6 players have all been Pro Bowlers. The only person in the top 7 who never played in a Pro Bowl was Sam Bradford.
And guess what? He made more money than all of them
combined.
Well, not combined. Ndamukong Suh made a lot of money.
So did Gerald McCoy. This is a good draft too.
Okay, so let's go through how this game is played. So we're going to pick all 32 teams, 32 picks. Seth and I have been doing this for quite a while. I think this is probably our 9th or 10th year that we've done it. And we generally come out about the same, which is surprising, generally between 2 or 3 points. If you hit it square on the head, so let's say I picked Tavon Walker number 1 overall, and Tavon Walker goes number 1 overall. Well, then I get 5 points. If Tavon Walker went 2, I would get 4, 3, so on and so forth, right?
3-2-1, not 3-3.
Correct, 3-2-1. So if you get within 5 picks, you get a point. And more than that, you get no points. And we tally them up at the end. So the most points you can get is 160 points. Seth and I generally get in like the 70s.
It's 70 or 80.
Yeah, just to be fair. I mean, look, I still pride myself on the 1 year of getting like ridiculous amounts more than
we both beat Kuiper and McShay.
Yeah. I still rule. I don't know which draft that was. It was definitely not the Eric Fisher draft.
No.
but so let's get to it. So who do you have with the first pick? And we go into why, but again, we got 38 minutes to go through 32 picks. So
we can go through why in a high level. I mean,
we'll move through it.
What we look at it is we're not coordinators. It's harder for us to gauge whether Sauce Gardner or Darryl Stingley is a better fit for the Robert Saleh defense. You may know that. I don't. But, we look for kind of the need, the fit, and so on and so forth. And then there's the discussion of best player available versus need, which is always an issue. Jacksonville, they have a GM who likes to take chances. He did it with Aldon Smith. He's going to do it here. He's going to take Trayvon Walker from Georgia, who is about the 6th best player on the Georgia defensive team, but has all the Mike Mamula highlights from the combine. Hopefully he has a better career.
Oh, look, Mike Mamula made a good amount of money. So I got Walker. So right, and even more so, we say this every single year. Seth and I are not scouts. We look at mock drafts, we make our honest opinion, but I couldn't tell you the difference between, let's say, Charles Cross and Evan Neal. I couldn't, other than how big they are and what school they played at.
Right.
I can't tell you
a little bit, but
right. But I can't tell you if their hips go this way versus this way. That's not where I'm at.
Scouts. And anyone who, and believe me, 90% of the people who do this kind of stuff are not scouts either.
No, they have no clue.
No, they have no clue. So, all right. So we both have Walker going 1. I'm assuming we do this in an S way. So I'm assuming you're taking Hutchinson at 2.
I am. Hold on. So Walker for you and Hutchinson as well. Okay, number 3. Go ahead.
Okay, Houston goes best player available. So because they need, let's be honest, they need everything.
I agree.
Played with the idea of a corner. Don't think that's the right move. I don't think they go Thibodeau. I think they go safer. I think they go offensive line. I think they go Ignoa from NC State.
Yep. No argument there. Match him up with Tunsil, and you got 2 tackles for the next 10 years.
Yep.
Okay, so the Jets. I'll take the Jets picks. You can take the Giants if we're out. I'm gonna look. They've been looking for a guy that could rush the passer for as long as I can remember. I mean, I think the last one was Jeff Logman or John Abraham. John Abraham, who is the best cock I've ever seen. So he's a Gamecock. Went to University of South Carolina.
Jadeveon Clowney, dude.
Oh, well. Let's put it this way. Best guy I needed. Look, they take Thibodeau. I think they do it begrudgingly, quite frankly. But they need a pass rusher so badly and for him to team with Carl Lawson, if Lawson comes back healthy, this is the 1-2 punch that they need. Robert Saleh loves defensive linemen. Like you've seen it in San Francisco. This is the pick that Jets fans cringe. They really do. They're like, this is a boomer bust pick, according to most. And when the Jets go boomer bust, normally it's bust. I mean, look, somebody today said, when's the last time you were happy with the Jets draft pick? Yeah, Seth, do you have any? The last time
you actually froze, so I didn't.
When was the last time that you were happy with the Jets draft pick? Overly happy with the Jets draft pick?
In retrospect, or when it happened?
No, when it happened. What do you think?
You weren't happy with Darnold.
Nope.
You were not ecstatic with Becton.
Nope.
You certainly weren't happy with D. Milner.
Nope.
I don't know.
I was happy when the Jets traded up to get Mark Sanchez. And the reason I was happy was because they didn't give away too much. It had nothing to do with that they got Mark Sanchez. It's that they didn't give away the farm to get Mark Sanchez.
And that actually, we typically don't do too many trades when we do these mocks.
I got one.
I think there's going to be a boatload of trades in this one.
I think it's potential. I don't think the order will really change. I think the teams that trade up are trading up for those mostly the same players. I have one trade, and when we get to it, I'll tell you. Okay, the Giants. So who do you have at number 4?
I got to make my Jets pick.
Right. Who do you have at number 4?
I do not have the Jets taking Thibodeau.
Thank God. Hopefully somebody you're better. We'll go with you.
There's a couple ways they need a bunch of things.
Yep.
And your offensive line, you still have some hope there. Fant was good last year. Becton, we don't know what we're getting out of Becton. It's a 50-50 proposition. The rest of
actually it's a 500-500 proposition.
450 proposition.
Yeah.
But you have Vera Taylor, who looks like he's going to be a good player. You know, I loved that pick last year.
Yeah.
McGovern's decent. I don't think you go offensive line. You have no cornerback. You have no secondary.
We don't need one. We don't need one.
You need somebody.
We don't need one.
You got nothing.
Yeah.
I know that Sale is a front 4 guy.
Yeah.
And if Walker or Hutchinson fell, I think, but Joe Douglas can't have a boomer bust player at 4 in this one. This draft has to work, and he's got to get solid play. I think he goes safer choice. I think he goes Sauce Gardner from Cincy.
So I get that. I think that the cornerback situation could be – remember, the Jets have 2 seconds. They have 2 fourths. They have 2 fifths. Not saying you spend fourths and fifths on them, but those are high second-round picks. Those are – But
there's also people like Boya Mafe and Ekabide from Penn State who you can get as the edge rusher.
Absolutely.
I think the Giants are going to look at edge rusher if Gardner falls, they may look at edge rusher. The Giants look because if you don't take him at 4, the Giants will. I think the Giants take him at 7.
Okay.
The Giants aren't taking him at 5. And the Carolina just took J.C. Horn. They're not taking another cornerback.
No, I agree. Well, I have the Giants actually taking him at 7. So
okay, that makes sense. Yeah, the Giants look the number 5. The Giants' biggest nightmare is the first 4. Is the 2 offensive linemen are gone.
Yep.
Now the question is, where do they like Charles Cross? We've heard they like him more than everybody. We've heard they liked him at 3rd. If they like him 3rd, then they can trade down.
Sure. Well, look, there are 3 or 4 teams that want to trade out of this spot.
Yes.
High in that spot.
The question is, the $1 million question is this. Is anyone like Kenny Pickett enough to trade up to 5? My feeling is no.
That's right.
I don't think so. I think Carolina wants to trade down.
I agree.
And so what I think happens, I think the Giants play it very safe and very smart. They take the best offensive lineman out there. On my board with Noah gone, it's Evan Neal from Alabama.
That's who I have as well. I have Evan Neal. Okay, so number 6, this is my trade. Okay,
Seattle,
and it's not,
Washington.
and it is not a trade up to get Kenny Pickett. It is a trade up to get Garrett Wilson, the wide receiver out of Ohio State, and the Eagles trade up to get him.
15 and 19?
15 and 18. 15 and 18, and probably a fourth or a third, something in like this got to get a little thing, like whatever. And they trade up and they go get Garrett Wilson, the Ohio State wide receiver. They put him with Devontae Smith. I think this is good value for them. I don't think the Eagles need a whole lot, and they're certainly not trading up for Pickett.
No.
So, and I don't think anybody is. I think that's the point. So I'll take. So I got Wilson here.
Okay, I have the Eagles taking a while. See, the problem where I get lost in the fuzz of all this is you literally have 5 receivers. It's hard to differentiate to me.
Yeah, you're right, but I don't think most of them are there. Like when I get down,
I think
when I'm down towards that side, I got Olive there and I got Dotson there, but I don't think those 2 are in the level of the Londons or the Wilsons. I just don't think they're there. So I think that this Eagles, is where you are.
I'll be honest. If I'm the Giants, I'm perfectly happy with that, to see the Eagles trade up, get rid of their draft picks to take yet another first-round wide receiver.
Agreed. Okay. So who do you have the Panthers taking if there's no trade?
I have them taking Pickett.
Okay.
I don't like it, but to me, the only choices for them are Pickett or Charles Cross. And in my mind, you need the GM and quarterback. It's a really bad position. The Panthers are almost in the worst position you can be in, because if they don't win, he's gone.
Yeah.
And the idea of bringing in the problem is you don't think Darnold can win for you, because that was proven last year.
Although Tepper said it today. Tepper said Sam Darnold could win. But anyway.
I talked with someone who actually knows David Tepper. He said he's not really that patient.
Okay, so moving on to
I think they take Pickett because they pretty much have no choice.
Okay.
I don't like Pickett at 6, but I don't. So the Giants here are in a nice position. You can go wide out, which I think is silly. You can go rush. You can go edge rusher, or you can go Derek Stingley from LSU.
Sure.
I am actually taking a little bit of I'm skipping Thibodeau because I just get the feeling the Maras are such a conservative organization that Thibodeau scares the crap out of them.
Okay.
And I think they're going to go rush. I think they go Jermaine Johnson from Florida State.
And this is where I think this is a perfect fit. This is the perfect draft for the Giants, as Sauce Gardner lands there as well.
I agreed.
And so they get both Neal and Gardner 5 and 7. And I think that runs.
I'd be very happy with it. If that doesn't work, that's not a reflection on Joe Schoen. That just doesn't work.
And I think number 8, look, I think I have 6 players in my draft that I say these are perfect fits for these teams. And number 8 is just another one of those, and that's Drake London for the Falcons. I think that is the perfect fit for him. I think they have nobody to throw the ball to.
They need to take a wideout.
Yeah.
So the question is, who's the wideout you have them taking?
Right.
I have them taking Drake London also.
Okay.
Although I wouldn't be surprised if they went Garrett Wilson.
Right.
Because I actually think he's more of a Calvin Ridley player. But again, you may be getting Calvin Ridley back next year. Who the heck knows?
And you still have Kyler Pitts there too. Kyle Pitts, excuse me.
Right. So Drake London's more of a Mike Evans type, big, strong guy.
Yep.
Look, Atlanta's in a complete rebuild. You have nothing lower than a high number 2 with London anyway, so you're fine.
Okay.
All right. I have the Seahawks at 9. They like big personalities. Thibodeau works for them.
Oh, okay. That wasn't the personality I was going for, but okay.
You're going to go Trevor Penning?
No, hold on. Let me put in Thibodeau for you.
Yep.
No, I was putting in Derek Stingley because that is a big personality too. And out of LSU, look, Seattle needs everything. I mean, they're one of those other teams that they got rid of Bobby Wagner. Their defense has taken a step back. Yeah, they have Quadri Diggs, but at the same time, they need help on the corner as
Name
well.
one pass rusher on Seattle.
Oh, I can't. But I can't name. But I can't name a linebacker either. So I mean, also I can't name an offensive lineman. I mean, I can't.
Charles Cross was a thought as well.
My point is, I can't name a lot of Seattle Seahawks because that team has gone through a change. So I'll take Stingley with the. Okay, so the Jets are up. They took Thibodeau at 4. If they stay at 10, now remember, this is the Deebo Samuel's potential deal right here, right? I think one way or another, they are getting a wideout at 10. And I think if they keep it, and I hope that they do, let's put it this way. If they can pull off Deebo Samuel for the 2 seconds that they have, this changes this pick entirely because they don't need Williams out of Alabama if they're getting Deebo Samuel with their seconds. I don't think that trade happens. I think Williams is their pick here. They do need a wideout. They need a guy that can stretch the field. And as I said on the Gary Age show this morning, neither the Jets or Giants are winning the Super Bowl this year. So they can wait for him to rehab that ACL.
Yeah, I have no issue with it. The only problem I have is this is Joe Douglas's 3rd year.
Yep.
We need to see.
He needs to win.
Miami's gotten better. The Patriots have gotten better. The Bills are the betting favorite for the Super Bowl. I'm not sure Woody Johnson's going to take 4 and 12. And if you're waiting for Williams to come back, and again, we don't know. It could be September. It could be November.
Sure.
Or it could be Ben Simmons, and it could be next August. Who the hell knows? Although that would be a little bit disappointing. I think you need a number 1 now.
Okay.
And I go Garrett Wilson from Ohio.
Well, yeah, and he's not available for me, so I totally get that. Right? So, okay. So you're up to the Commanders, the Commies, and
they're going to be forever known as the WFT to me.
Okay, the WFT
or the WTF. Either one is fine.
Fair enough.
I had to laugh when we were online at Disney. Somebody saw Carly wearing a Giants hat, and I was trying to cut through because I was behind on something. They're like, we don't let Giants fans through. I'm like, you're a Washington fan. You've been irrelevant for 30 years. I mean, think about it. Has there been a more irrelevant team in the last 25 years than the Washington Redskins?
Maybe the Jacksonville Jaguars.
They went to 2 AFC title games.
That's true. That's fair.
The Lions. That's about it. The Redskins.
We got 21 minutes. We got 21 minutes.
We're doing fine.
Okay. Right. 11.
Washington needs a bunch of things. They could go wide out, but I don't think so. They need best player available. Landon Collins is gone. They take the sure hit. They take Kyle Hamilton from Notre Dame.
Yeah, spot on. Absolutely spot on. He is their new Sean Taylor. Like, I think they've been looking for a Sean Taylor since the unfortunate passing of Sean Taylor. They tried it with Landon Collins. It didn't work. Landon Collins was not an all-around player. He was an in-the-box player. Kyle Hamilton is exactly that. Okay, the Vikings. The Vikings perpetually are looking for the same position over and over again. I don't know how many first-round picks they've spent on quarterbacks.
70.
But it seems like every year we're talking about Mike Hughes. We're talking about, Xavier Rhodes. Every single year we're talking about a corner for these guys. And you still have Stingley available, so I'm sure this is where you have him. And I have Trent McDuffie because I don't have Stingley available. But it's always going to be a corner with these guys until it's not a corner with these guys. I think that's the number one rule. Okay, we're up to the Texans. I bet you we have the same guy for the Texans.
I bet you we don't.
Oh, okay.
Because as you said, the Texans have time.
They do.
What I think happens, and I didn't make the trade, is I actually think the Texans trade with Green Bay at 23 and 28 up for 14.
That's going to take a lot more than 28 and 20. That's going to take a lot.
They got to probably throw a little bit more in, but the idea works. I think the Texans, if they keep this, why not take Jamison Williams?
Yeah, that's fine.
You plays with Cooks. You don't need an offensive lineman since you just took an Ignowu. Might as well take the best talent out there.
You know, it's funny. This is the first switch that I'm making because I forgot that I took Ignowu earlier, so I can't take another. You're right. I can't take another. I had Charles Cross here, but you're absolutely right. I can't be taking another guy here of that ilk. So I'm going to switch it up, and I'm going to put Jermaine Johnson here as a defensive lineman because if you have nothing else, if you have nowhere else to go, you draft the defensive lineman.
Always rush the passer.
Right. So I'll put him here, and now we're up to the Ravens. And the Ravens I'll flip because if the Ravens need somebody, they pick offensive linemen. So I'll pick Charles Cross going to the Ravens.
And I have them taking a different lineman. I have them taking because they like mean guys.
You got Penning. You got Penning. You got Penning.
He's the meanest guy in this draft.
He is the meanest guy in this draft. You're out, which means you have Charles Cross falling. I mean, he's your guy that's falling hard. I mean, I have Johnson falling. You have him
Johnson's not really falling. Johnson's been anywhere from 5.
But you have him at 7, and I have him at 13.
Well, because I look through this, and I mean, I have him going in the next few. So
I'm just saying, you have Charles Cross was, a month ago, a top 6 pick.
And he still may be. There are stories that the Giants like him more than they like Ignowu. Yeah. And if Neal goes before, then it's him or he may go there.
Yeah. And this is the problem with this type of draft, right?
Right. We have no clue.
Okay. So the Eagles.
So more and more, I like your trade. I don't.
You know why I like my trade? Because guess who's still there for? Kenny Pickett. Kenny Pickett is still there for Carolina at 15 right now. Yep. And
because nobody else wants him. I mean, it's that simple.
Well, no, it's not that nobody else wants him. Nobody needs a quarterback.
Well, that's what I mean. Nobody wants him at 15. Nobody is going to use a top 10. You look at these teams. Jacksonville is a quarterback. Detroit is not taking him at 2.
The only team that could take him would be the Texans. The only team in between 1 and 15.
They're going to give Davis Mills a year.
Right. So the point is they trade down to either the Saints picks or the Eagles picks. Either one of those double picks. And they still get their guy.
Yep.
And he's still there. The only caution that you have is whether the Steelers at 20 want to trade up and go get him. But the point is, when you only have 1 first-round pick, how much do you have to give up to move up?
Right, and that's been the rumor all along is the Giants and the Steelers may talk.
Right, but how much are the Steelers willing? They'd have to give up their first-round pick next year, and they're not going to do that.
They'd have to give up probably more than that.
Yeah.
Because you're moving up – because if you're doing this to get Pickett.
You're moving above the Panthers.
Move up to 5.
Yeah, you're moving above the Panthers.
So you're giving up to 20. You're not going to
first next year.
And
a second of some sort, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's an enormous amount to move up to get a quarterback that's not one of those guys.
Yep. So, all right. So who do you have for the Eagles here?
I have the Eagles going. I have them going corner. I have them going McDuffie, which I'll be honest, I'm not overly ecstatic with.
Okay. Now, the Saints just lost Teron Armstead, and this is one of those picks that I say this is perfect. Penning goes right here, fills that void, moving forward. Like it is like an O.J. Simpson glove, just barely fitting. Trevor Penning goes to the Saints.
Yes. And what offensive line lost a $132 million guy? What offensive lineman happens to be available?
Charles Cross.
Charles Cross.
Okay. So the Chargers, go ahead with the Chargers.
I'll be honest, I find this a little weird. I keep seeing them that they're going to go wide out. I don't understand.
Nowhere. Yeah.
So that was what I was playing with. And more, I just think it's stupid. So what I'm going to do is I'm making a quick change on mine. I'm going Jordan Davis, center from the 350-pound defensive lineman from Georgia. That makes a lot more sense.
So the only reason that they would go wide out, and I'm looking up Keenan Allen's contract at this point. So after 20, they have the potential out this year of Keenan Allen, not next year. So yeah, I don't see it. They just re-signed Mike Williams to a huge deal.
3-year deal, yeah, 3 years, $60 million.
I don't see it. $40 million.
I've been reading a lot about that, and I haven't understood it.
Yeah, so I don't see that. I see them going cornerback. I'm sorry, you had who here?
I have Charles. I have Davis, Jordan Davis from Georgia.
Davis. Okay. So I have Andrew Booth, the cornerback. I think the Chargers are always, much like the Vikings, always looking for corners. They can never find them. Okay, and with the Eagle, so now I have the Panthers on the clock at 18. Remember, it was 15 and 18 go to the Panthers, and I'll take Jordan Davis as well because you can never have too many big body linemen. And look, he is. I saw him in Georgia last year. I mean, he is a beast. He's an older type. He's a senior, and seniors team tend. Yeah, I know, a senior. Familiar. Yeah, and they tend to drop in the draft, but I'll take Jordan Davis here with the Panthers.
Yeah. So the Eagles now take their wideout because they're the Eagles and they always take a wideout. So I have them taking Chris Olave.
Okay, which brings me to the Saints, who then take Olave because he's there and they're the Saints and they need a wideout. And Olave with Michael Thomas means we have two Ohio State guys in the wideout section for the Saints.
Hold on, I double put someone in, so I need a second here. Crap.
And it seems like we're going to go over a little bit today, but that's fine for me.
That's fine.
So no way we're getting through 12 more picks and 8 more minutes.
All right, so the Saints, because I've had to change like 5 picks as we've gone along. So, because I also, although I didn't say it, accidentally had a Knowu and Cross going 3 and 13, which makes no sense. So,
I wasn't the only one doing that.
Nope. So I have the Saints going. Saints need wideout.
Yeah.
And so it's a question of where do you go? Do you go Dotson? I'm going with the big guy. I'm going Trayvon Burks from Arkansas.
Okay. Now we're up to the Steelers. And the Steelers did what the Steelers do. They stayed patient and still get the guy that they want the entire time. And that was Malik Willis. They don't have to move.
Who's your Saints? So who's your Saints pick?
Oh, I had Olave.
Okay.
So they don't have to move one bit. So they do, right? They didn't have to move for Najee Harris. They got Najee Harris. They didn't have to move for Roethlisberger. They got Roethlisberger. They don't have to move for Willis. They're going to get Willis at 20. I don't see any team that's trading up to get this guy at all. So I think he lands in their lap. You have Pickett going here?
Oh, I had Pickett at 6.
Oh, you had Pickett at 6. That's right. Sorry. So who do you have at 20?
Malik Willis.
Oh, all right. Yeah. So,
no real argument.
Okay. So, Bill Belichick makes a pick with 21. Who does he pick?
He picks who he always picks, the smartest guy out there.
Yep.
Who's the smartest guy out there?
I got Devin Lloyd as the smartest guy out there.
Devin Lloyd's the smartest guy.
Middle linebacker. And the thing is, it's funny. Do you know and all credit to Pro Football Talk who put this out there. He has over 15 more trades over the last 10 years in the draft than any other team. Belichick in the draft, 15 more trades. And rightfully so. They said, well, he's the god. He doesn't have to check with anybody. He's like, I want to make a trade. I go make a trade. I don't need to check with my GM. I'm good, right? No coach, no nothing. All right. So the Packers at 22, the Packers need one thing more than anything in the world. Somebody to catch the damn ball. Alan Lazard and Sammy Watkins should not be a 1-2 punch.
John Maynard is not walking through that door.
And the thing is, though, we talk about this all the time, that wide receivers in their first year really don't have the significance that they should, especially high picks. But it seems like lower picks and older wide receivers tend to do better. And that's why I have Dotson here, because I think he's 6'4", number one.
Dotson?
He is.
Dotson's
Isn't Dotson 6'4"? I thought he was 6'4". He's 6'1". I'm sorry, he's 6'1".
Burks is 6'4".
Yeah, so he's 6'1". Hold on a second. Let me get what he's got. I had it somewhere. Here we go. Jahan Dotson. Jahan Dotson is 6 foot. He runs a 4.43, and a senior, right? An older player. So I'll put him here. I think the Packers would do very well to get him here, quite frankly.
Sorry about that. Hold on. Yeah, somehow I copied and pasted all that. Okay, that's bad. So we both had Lloyd. We both had Willis. Okay. So I think we just pissed off Aaron Rodgers just a little bit.
No, come on. More?
Just a little more.
Okay.
The Packers do need a wide receiver. But when I look further down, there's only one team I think that's reasonably can take a wide receiver. I don't buy the Cowboys are going to take a wide receiver. I think that would be absurd. You agree? Or you disagree?
Yeah, I agree. I completely agree. Yeah.
So I think they're looking, and I think they go offensive line because their offensive line has gotten hit pretty hard. I debated going Lindenbaum, but I actually went offense. I went kind of a little bit more fluid. I went Zion Johnson from Boston College.
So for the Cards, I quite frankly, I had Burks here. And then I thought about it a little bit more, and I'm changing that pick. And I'm putting Sky Moore here because I think you are replacing Christian Kirk. And when you're replacing Christian Kirk, you need to replace him with a similar player that can play in the slot, which is Christian Kirk. And Sky Moore runs a 4.4 as opposed to Burks that is a taller receiver, so sort of like DeAndre Hopkins. You don't need another DeAndre Hopkins, AJ Green, when you have DeAndre Hopkins and AJ Green. So I will put Sky Moore here. Quite frankly, I don't love this pick at all. I don't love this pick at all, but I think it works out.
Hold on a second, Sean. I need 5 minutes to finish up, and then I'll be good.
And it's a little bit early.
That's okay.
I don't love this pick at all, but I think this is the right way forward. So I'm putting Sky Moore here.
All right. The Cardinals have a massive need on defense because they have no defense. And we don't know what we have still with JJ Watt. We don't know what's there. I'm going defensive line, Devontae Wyatt from Georgia. The Cowboys. How about them Cowboys? I kind of went back and forth. 10 years ago, they did well with Trevor Frederick. I think they're going to make the same run and take the center a little bit early. Not even a little bit early. You wanted them a while ago at that point. And they're going to go I'm forgetting the name, Lindenbaum. I'm forgetting the first name.
Wait, you have that? You have that for the Cowboys?
I do.
You're killing me, Smalls. Okay. I think they're going to go offensive line too, not a center. I think they're going to take another guard to go with Zach Martin, and I think they're going to bookend with Kenyon Green. The Bills also going offensive line because the Bills can go offensive line. The Bills can go wherever they want because the Bills are probably the most talented team in the NFL right now.
Yep.
Top to bottom. But I'm going to take Tyler Smith as if you don't have any, as the Ravens have suggested numerous times, if you don't have anywhere to go, you pick the best offensive lineman, you hope. And I think that's where he goes.
Well, the question, they do need something. They need a corner because Tre'Davious is coming off ACL surgery.
True. That is true.
And they're second. I'm here, Jakey. Come on in the office if you want. And so I'm going Andrew Booth.
Oh, who I had, where did I have it?
Way before.
Yeah, I had Booth going 17. Okay, the Titans need defensive linemen. That's been known. You picked them, a couple of picks before this with the Packers, and so I will pick Zion Johnson going there.
I mean, the Titans always take defensive linemen. Derek Barnett, Jeffrey Simmons.
They didn't take Derek Barnett. Derek Barnett went to
to Philadelphia. There's another. They always seem to take defensive linemen.
They do.
I debated. Actually, I'm going to make a quick change. I'm going to go. I'm going to switch him in the Bucks, and I'm going to go Kenyon Green from Texas A&M.
Yep. So you're taking an offensive lineman here for them.
Yep. Okay. And then the Bucks, their front four is getting old. Ndamukong Suh, Jason Pierre-Paul. I'm taking the grinder from Purdue, George Kafidis.
Okay.
Come on, Jake.
So the funny thing is I have Kafidis going next, which we'll talk about in a second. But here I think the Bucks need a cornerback. Every year they get injured on the cornerback situation and they don't have a replenishment. So I'm taking out of Florida, Kahir Elam. And then the Packers, I have Kafarthis because why take enough? As you said before, let's piss off Aaron Rodgers, but we'll piss him off on the back end, not on the front end. Have him take Dotson first. Have him take Kafarthis second.
See, and as my son hits himself in the head, obviously he's a Jets fan. I have. Yeah, you do. Jets. Yeah, Jets. This is what being a Jets fan is. This is what being a Jets fan is. And I have them finally making Green Bay a little bit happier, making Aaron a little bit happier. I have them taking Dotson from Penn State.
So it's funny. We have the same pick. We just haven't flipped. Yep. Okay, the Chiefs need a safety. Yep. They lost Tyrann Mathieu. They pick up Daxton Hall. I have them taking safety, but I have them taking Louis Cine from Georgia. Okay. Who do you got for the Chiefs?
They also lost a wide receiver named what's his name? Oh yeah, Tyreek Hill. So they need speed.
Yep.
What do you need with speed? Jakey, do you have speed? Are you fast? Do you want to play for the Chiefs? Okay. So I have them going Sky Moore because they need speed.
And I already have Sky Moore gone, but I have another wide receiver that has a lot of speed, and that's Christian Watson.
6'4" guy from North Dakota State.
And you know what the thing is? Like you said earlier, when you get down here, there are like 20 wide receivers. I mean, wide receiver is the most plentiful, and that's why, look, I have the Jets taking Williams at 10, but I wouldn't be surprised if they don't. I mean, you keep going down. You got George Pickens still. You got Tolbert still. You got Mechie still. You got a bunch. According to me, you got Treylon Burks still. I mean, he hasn't been picked in my draft. So you got players. Okay, the Bengals to me are always going to go offensive line because how do I protect Joe Burrow? I mean, it's just that simple. And that's Kyler Gordon.
That's who?
Kyler Gordon.
Who?
Kyler Gordon.
Oh, cornerback. I thought you said offensive line.
I meant corner. Sorry, I meant corner. Sorry. They always need corner. Yeah, they always need corners.
I have them going. I actually have them going secondary. I haven't taken Daxton Hill. Okay. And then with the last pick, Here's where I get kind of lost because, well, I got lost along a lot of ways around here, but I think the feeling is, I think the right player is N'Kobe Dean, the linebacker from Georgia, because they need a leader, and he's a leader.
Yeah, it won't happen.
But I think they end up taking a quarterback because they want a quarterback for the 5th year.
Mm-hmm.
So the question is, who do you take? Do you take Desmond Ridder or do you take Sam Howell? Or do you take Matt Corral? And I'm going to say they're going to take Sam Howell. And probably be laughed at, but because I've seen him as low as a 3rd-round pick. But I don't know. Supposedly they like him more than they like the other 2.
And I got Matt Corral for the exact same reason, because I think it's a 5th-year option. We got 5 minutes left. Let me go very quickly. Look, we talked about Mike Bossy last week and the loss of him, and right after that, you lose Guy Lafleur. It was a crappy week for French Canadians, just in general, especially French Canadian right wingers. You remember I remember Lafleur when he came back with the Rangers and later the Nordiques, not so much with the Canadians, but man, the NHL team in the sky just got the best 2 right wings of all time. I mean, it's not even close.
All right. Considering I have my son playing the Wildcrafts game about 3 feet away from me right now, it's probably time for me to check out. So,
all right.
Hopefully, Sean and I will probably be talking during the draft. Hopefully, it's fun. I'll be on Gary's tomorrow. Good time had by all.
Sounds
Talk
good.
to y'all next week.
See you. Bye-bye.